WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And brand new package from the Celtic Whiskey Club from Dublin, a new sample, and this time it's a Tyrconnell 15-year-old Madeira Cask finish. Limited edition, 46% ABV. And over here in Germany, I get to pay 65 euros for it. In America, the price should be $100. And at the Celtic Whiskey Club in Dublin, it's actually 100 euros, which I don't understand why they're taking 35 euros more for it than we have to pay over here on the mainland of Europe. So, limited edition, once again, no information. Is it 5,000 or 50,000 bottles? They didn't write. So Cooley was bought by Jim Beam. Jim Beam was bought by Zentori. And that was around 2011 that Cooley was bought. And 2007, they started experimenting with finishes. So there's a Tyrconnell Single Malt, which is one of the best values for money out there, to be honest. Over here, I can get it for like $25, $28, and it's an excellent Irish whiskey for that price. Then there's a 16-year-old Tyrconnell, which I just finished a couple weeks ago with friends here. Also an excellent, excellent Irish whiskey. One of my favorite Irish whiskeys. A little bit more pricey, around $80. Then we have the 10-year-old trio of the port wine, of the sherry, and of the Madeira casks. And now we have the 15-year-old. Now, my very first question that I would have on the managing director of Tyrconnell, if I would, is, well, it's by Cooley here. Where did you hide these casks? In all the world, we have a big problem with not enough old whiskey. It's almost impossible to buy anything now from Japan with an age statement on it. It's very, very difficult to get decent whiskey with an age statement over 18 or anything on there, and without paying triple digits. And then suddenly the Irish just come out of nowhere and say, oh, the 10-year-old was great, but here's a 15-year-old. I mean, come on, guys. It's amazing. And it's amazing if you really think about it, all these new labels that have come out in Ireland that just source their whiskey from Cooley. And what were they producing 10, 15 years ago? What type of amounts of whiskey when it wasn't really clear that in the future there's going to be a whiskey boom? And the Irish whiskey industry is the fastest growing spirits market of the world for the last, I think, 10 years almost. And so it's amazing that they can still get this type of stock hidden and then pull it out of their hats and say, hello, let's take a look at this. So it was aged 15 years. Probably only in ex-bourbon barrels, and then they finish it in Madeira. Madeira is a island from Portugal, and they have a very, very heavy, sweet, very, very, I'm going to use the word rugged wine that those casks are reused, which I like very much. There's a sweet Madeira, and there's a fino, and there's a dry fina, and there's a sweet dolce. The dolce I prefer. The fina is also very, very nice. So let's try this. The nose. Very, very interesting. Pears. My grandmother used to take pears and put them in the mason jars, and we'd eat them for dessert. Exactly that's the flavor I get. And then add a little bit of rose petals to it. And maybe even a tiny, tiny bit of like a chocolate sauce on top of those pears. Nice. Very, very nice. Excellent nose. This is actually an Irish whiskey that I would enjoy just smelling for the next couple of minutes. Just enjoying this moment. So, color is okay. If you just, I'm sure you can see this here. It's not wow. So this is a comparison. This is a German whiskey, which is almost whiskey. It's 2.5 years old from St. Killens. And that's always one of my references to see what the color looks like. So 15 years in a oak cask. Didn't really give it that much color, but it's enough. But the aroma, the bouquet on the nose is just really nice. I'm going to even go for a tiny, tiny little bit of peach cobbler. But that pear is really, really, really dominant. And those rose petals. Even a little bit of honey in there. As I said, very enjoyable. All right, let's try it. Oh, that barrel character at the end. Not the best. So what they tried to do, my opinion, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American here in Germany, is they try with a Madeira finish to mask some of that wood at the end, which it did, but apparently not enough. So put my glass over here. Now, it starts off at a very, very nice fruity level. Those pears and the rose petals and that even a little bit of honey, like clover honey just kicks in. Very, very nice. Good. And this is a very, very, very nice level, but then that wood just kicks in, and that bitterness of that wood and those tannins just kind of pulled it down at the end. And even now, after a minute of talking, I still have the feeling that I took a popsicle stick, chewed on it for way too long, and that woodiness is just in my mouth, and it's not really a pleasant experience. One last time, I'd like to try this. I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. I'd like to bring it down to about 40% and see if I can tickle out any other magic notes here. So, it's actually better on the nose now. Oh, I'm going to be able to use one of my words. I love marzipan. Marzipan is actually a specialty here of northern Germany, especially of the city of Lübeck. And basically all it is rose water. Yeah, rose water with ground up almonds together with a lot of confectioner sugar. And I get that. And that Madeira, that sweet, sweet wine does come through on the nose at the end. My one nostril is better than the other at actually identifying that cask, that Madeira cask finish. Okay, try it. Okay, better. Oh, still there. Yeah, the finish. Oh, that finish really does pull down the grade. If it wasn't for that finish, this would be like a B wine, but now it's a C+. The finish is so important. As George Grant from Glenfarclas says, you have the whiskey in your mouth for 20 seconds. You have that feeling in your mouth for up to 20 minutes. And that's the most important part for me, is what I have after I swallow that finish. And I just do not enjoy the finish here. I'm so sorry. Value for money, let's go for a C minus. $100 in the States is a lot for this. I would not buy that. If you could buy something else, I would go for the Glendalough 13-year-old. And there's actually a Glendalough 13-year-old finished in Japanese oak. If you ever get the chance to buy that instead, I would highly, highly recommend it. They actually have a new tube over here in Europe. It looks like this now. This is my second bottle of this already, so I can recommend it. Same problem at the end. The finish is not exactly perfect, but still a very, very nice whiskey. I think they're actually from the same distilleries. Glendalough does not have their own distillery set up and running yet, and they source, and nowhere does it say triple distill, so I'm assuming it's double distilled, therefore it's a coulis product, and it's actually a little bit cheaper. So, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. This one you might actually find It was released in the spring of 2018. I'm going to say March, April, May. And so this is actually something you might be able to find one day soon. But if I get my video out fast enough, I might be one of the first. Yay! All right, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and keep up to date with Jason here, Whiskey Jason, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. My question of the day is, which Tyrconnell bottling is your favorite? I'm going to go with the 16-year-old, followed by the single malt whiskey without an age statement. What is yours? Write it down in the comments. I would be interested. See you soon. Bye-bye.